There have been 2,214 wildfires nationally so far this year, and approximately 3.3 million hectares have been burned. And across the country, there are currently 413 wildfires burning, and 249 of those fires are deemed out of control. There are also 18 active wildfires specifically impacting First Nations, with 6 in Alberta, 5 in Saskatchewan, 1 in the Northwest Territories, 4 in Quebec, and 2 in Nova Scotia. And as of yesterday, an estimated 26,000 people remain evacuated from their homes across the country. I will acknowledge that the images that we have seen so far this season are some of the most severe ever witnessed in Canada. And the current forecast for the next few months indicates the potential for continued higher than normal fire activity. Releasing the information that we're providing today will allow people and governments to prepare. And because they know that when they are prepared, we can reduce the risk that these events pose. And it enables us to position the resources and the supports the Canadians may need and be ready to mobilize them if a situation requires it. The Government Operations Centre supports the planning work and provides stable, around-the-clock coordination of the federal response to all emergencies. They constantly monitor evolving risks and liaise with the provincial and territory officials to ensure a swift, smooth, and coordinated approach to provide any federal aid a province or territory may require, including by reaching across the entire federal system to activate different supports that any jurisdiction may need. And through the exceptional work of the Government Operations Centre, we have been able to respond quickly to requests for federal assistance from both Nova Scotia and from Quebec. And this, of course, is in addition to the request that we approved from the province of Alberta last month, and it has led to the mobilization of Canadian Armed Forces personnel and assets in both provinces, with further supports being provided by other federal departments and agencies. And for example, in Alberta, there are roughly 150 soldiers currently deployed in support of firefighting tasks in the Fox Creek region and in Fort Chipewyan. In Quebec, there are now 150 soldiers deployed to the Sept-Îles region. And in Nova Scotia, we have provided ignition specialist personnel and equipment to support their efforts, and an immediate response unit consisting of 200 soldiers from the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Canadian Regiment, and they have now completed the necessary Type 3 firefighting training. They're ready to immediately deploy from CFB Gagetown, and once the province assesses that conditions are suitable and safe, they will continue and commence firefighting operations. In addition, firefighting support is also being coordinated by the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre, commonly referred to as CIFC. And since 1982, CIFC has coordinated the sharing of firefighting resources between the federal, provincial, and territorial agencies responsible for wildland fire management and with our international partners, as the Prime Minister indicated. These resources are shared on a formal basis through a mutual aid agreement which outlines 3 categories of resources. They provide support of equipment, personnel, and aircraft. And during periods of escalating wildland fire activity, CIFC matches the agencies that have specific resource needs with the agencies that have resources available. This season, personnel and resources have already been deployed between provinces and territories. And as the Prime Minister acknowledged, we are very grateful for the support Canada has received from our international partners, including Australia, the United States, New Zealand, South Africa, and other countries to come. We are expecting further deployments from these countries, including France, in the coming days and weeks, and we have been assured that CIFC continues to find the necessary firefighters, personnel, and assets to support the firefighting operations across Canada. In addition to the work of CIFC and Canadian Armed Forces, Public Services and Procurement Canada is working closely with the Government Operations Centre and stands by to provide technical support and expertise in civil engineering for bridges, buildings, or other damaged critical infrastructure. PSPC can also provide emergency contracting support for goods and services, air assets, and temporary accommodations, as well as warehousing service for emergency stockpile and equipment, which may be required to support the response. NGOs, including the Canadian Red Cross, are supporting multiple regions across the country. Community organizations and local volunteers are providing essential support, care, and compassion to people who are under immense personal stress, and their work represents a key component of Canada's response to these emergencies. With federal and provincial contributions, our matching program with the Government of Alberta and the Canadian Red Cross has raised over $22 million. And we have also committed, as the Prime Minister indicated, to similar matching programs with Nova Scotia and the Northwest Territories. I want Canadians to know that all orders of government are working closely together with your safety in mind and with a high degree of cooperation and collaboration. And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank my provincial and territorial counterparts and all of the municipal leaders that we've spoken to for their excellent partnership and hard work. The situation remains serious, but there have been some very positive developments over the weekend. On Saturday, Alberta rescinded their provincial state of emergency. Rain and cooler temperatures have brought much needed relief to Nova Scotia. And to the firefighters, first responders, search and rescue personnel, members of the Canadian Armed Forces who continue to move into danger to keep our communities safe, we recognize your heroic service to Canadians, and we offer you all our collective thanks. Thank you very much. Merci. I'd like now to turn it over to my colleague, Minister Wilkinson.
Thank you, Minister Blair. Good morning, everyone. I also want to acknowledge the incredibly challenging circumstances that folks across the country are facing and the ongoing efforts of firefighters, volunteers, and everyday Canadians who are stepping up to support each other. As I said last week, the federal government is here to support Canadians and at-risk communities throughout this year's fire season and into the future. À cette fin, Ressources Naturelles
Natural Resources Canada is therefore working in close collaboration with different partners to develop a model that predicts wildfire dangers throughout the year. These models are regularly updated and made available to the public to ensure that they are as precise and timely as possible.
We released our updated modeling for the wildfire season. It is, in a word, sobering. It shows that the risk of wildfires is set to increase in June and remain unusually high throughout the summer across the country. It shows us that this year's already devastating season could well get worse. It is important to note that this model anticipates risk levels, not actual fires. With good fortune, it is possible that the full extent of the risk does not materialize, but with preparation, we must be ready for whatever happens this year and into the future. Every province and territory will need to be on high alert throughout this wildfire season. While this is not yet Canada's most severe fire season, if this trajectory continues, it very well could be. In terms of historic averages of area burned, we have seen 10 times normal so far. Going forward, as usual, Natural Resources Canada will continue to update its modeling to keep all Canadians apprised. While provinces and territories have primary responsibility for firefighting personnel and equipment, this federal government has recognized that additional firefighting resources will most certainly be required moving forward. We have also recognized the need for work to help at-risk communities adapt to the impact of a changing climate. C'est pourquoi le budget.
That is why the 2022 federal budget committed $516 million for wildfire mitigation, response, and surveillance, and to improve the federal coordination during emergency response.
To enable provinces and territories to buy specialized firefighting equipment, to train new firefighters, and to incorporate Indigenous traditional knowledge in our fire management systems. This past year, we contributed to 6 provinces and territories to acquire firefighting equipment. This has been critical for our counterparts in the procurement of vital resources such as vehicles, mobile units, avionics upgrades, hoses, pumps, and enhanced communication equipment. It's expected all provinces and territories will participate in the fund this year. And last week, I announced that under the first phase of our wildfire training program, we had signed agreements with 9 Indigenous communities and organizations to help train more than 300 Indigenous firefighters and 125 Indigenous fire guardians all across Canada. As I noted last Thursday, and in light of the urgent wildfire conditions in Canada, my department is pleased to be working with the International Association of Firefighters to advance a pilot project that would increase Canada's wildfire fighting capacity. This project will be focused on training structural firefighters to respond to fires in the wildland-urban interface due to the particular risks those fires pose to homes, communities, and infrastructure. Le travail se poursuit sur tous ces.
Work is continuing on all fronts, and we intend to send as many firefighters as possible on the ground. This means more people with the skills, knowledge, and expertise in communities that need it most.
Natural Resources Canada will continue to monitor and to model wildfires and wildfire risks in Canada. We are also going to enhance our abilities to do so with the $170 million investment in Wildfire satellite mission, the world's first purpose-built public satellite system for monitoring fires, which is targeted to launch in 2029. Once operational, Wildfire Sat will help reduce wildfire losses, help us defend communities and avoid unnecessary evacuations, allow us to better protect our resources, infrastructure, and environment, inform emergency decisions, reduce health problems associated with smoke and air pollution, and help prevent more disastrous fires. Les incendies de forêt ont
Wildfires certainly took place before we started to clearly see the acceleration of the effects of climate change. However, we are now experiencing a new reality, one where we need to pay attention to what science is telling us.
been there to provide assistance to provinces and territories that require near-term support. In the long term, we are also making investments in building the capabilities that Canadians will most certainly need going forward. Canada has made combating wildfires a high priority over the last number of years, and with the accelerating impact of climate change, we very much will continue to do so moving forward. Thank you very much. And now over to my colleague, Minister Gould.
Thank you, Minister Wilkinson. I too would like to join my voice of gratitude to all those who are involved in the emergency response, especially as many of them are facing very challenging situations in their own personal lives as well. As my colleagues have said, as the wildfire situation across Canada evolves, we will continue to make every effort to help and support those impacted. Emploi et Développement Social Canada.
Employment and Social Development Canada has set up an intervention group to manage emergencies, to coordinate and plan our response to wildfires and maintain services being offered to Canadians. We are focusing on service provision to Canadians affected by the wildfire situation. We need to show proof of flexibility to allow quicker access to services and to provide services as quickly as possible through direct deposits using mobile services and Service Canada.
Outreach units to evacuation centers to support applications for services such as employment insurance. For those affected by the wildfires, ESDC continues to deliver and prioritize applications for income support, including EI, OAS, GIS, and Canada Pension Plan. We have also put in place additional procedures to facilitate EI claims where employers are not able to issue records of employment or where paper checks may not be deliverable due to the wildfires. In addition, Service Canada is actively conducting wellness checks on temporary foreign workers. We're checking on them by contacting their employers. Si vous êtes un travailleur affecté par
If you are a worker affected by the wildfires, I strongly encourage you to apply for an employment insurance benefit online, by telephone, or in person as soon as possible. Even if you do not have your employment document, your applications will be processed as a priority.
wildfires. Apply for EI benefits online, by phone, or in person. Even if you do not have your record of employment, your application will be prioritized. If you are an EI, CPP, or OAS recipient who has not signed up yet for direct deposit, I strongly encourage you to do so you can receive your benefits sooner. La livraison des chèques papier.
Delivery of paper checks by the postal service may be disrupted because of the affected zones. You could register for a direct deposit by sending an application through Service Canada. A worker would contact you 2 days after your application. You could also communicate with the call center responsible for the benefit you receive.
You can submit an eService Canada request online to get help with many services, including but not limited to CPP, your social insurance number, passports, and Ukraine immigration measures. Service Canada employees are also available to help through the Service Canada Outreach Support Centre. The toll-free number is 1-877-631-2657. Nous savons que les prévisions.
We know that predictions indicate that there's going to be extreme wildfires throughout Canada, Service Canada employees will continue being there to support all those who are affected by the wildfires.
These support services to anyone, anywhere in Canada who has been affected by these wildfires. You are not alone. Please do not hesitate to reach out to a Service Canada Centre or the Outreach Support Centre if you need assistance. We are here for you. Thank you. Merci.